Hello, welcome back. We got an exciting video today. We're going to be going over some of the reworks and new 5-star additions coming with the update. So, this is the fourth video I'm making. It's a little separate from the first three. The first video went over the buffs and everything I like about the update. Part 2, I went over all the nerfs and everything I don't like about the update. Part 3, I took all the information we have and kind of went over what changes I'm making, why I'm making them, and what changes you should maybe consider. And then part 4 is kind of unrelated to that stuff, but still covering new content. So we're going to be going over Powerglide, Ultra Magnus, Computron, Omega Supreme, and Trax. So starting with Powerglide and Ultra Magnus, they got completely reworked their abilities. So all this information in the newsletter if you want to go back and look at it. But Powerglide, evolve your ability permanently with each use. At 3 ability points, drop a bomb that deals 4,808 normal damage to the target. 4 ability points, bomb also hits adjacent targets. 5 ability points, disable targets for 10 seconds. 6 ability points, bomb deals 1.25 damage, so 1.25 of 4808. And then ability 11, that 1.25 goes up to 1.75. And the normal damage goes up to 4,974. So I think he's without a doubt better. If you get him, I think he'll be fun in events. The one thing I don't love about him, which is again is still a huge upgrade over what he was, the 4,808 or 4,974, it's not enough to one-shot a build bot. And even if you get him to captain, which would be 4,974 times 15%, so times 1.15, he's a little shy at 5,720. So when you get him up to the 6 ability point level, he can take a build bots, but you need to kind of use him a bunch before that, and then after that it's going to be 6, 7, 8 ability points if you want to take out like 3 build bots. So when I first saw this ability, my first thought was, ooh, he could be helpful taking out the build bots, but I don't think he can. So if he's not taking out build bots, I just don't see, like, he's gonna try and take out an area if you use his ability twice. So at the 4 ability, I don't know what to use the 3 ability points on. I can't think of a good use for that. But once for the next ability used at 4 points, when he hits an area, maybe if he uses his bomb twice or combos with another bot, that could be interesting. I'm also very interested in the concept of his ability, where every ability used it evolves. That's a new concept. I think besides Blue Blue Streak. So he's the only one who kind of has an evolving ability, but it's not technically the same. So I'm excited what they do with him. I think it opens the doors for exciting possibilities. And even if he's not, I don't think he'll get war consideration. However, if you're new, like if you're in Cybertron and below, if you pull him, he will have a use. I think he can take out build bots if he's not dealing with the prime effects. And if you don't have smoke screen yet, I think he'll, in the lower leagues, he'll be okay. It's just in prime league if you want to use him at high level. I don't think he has a spot. So moving on, next we have Ultra Magnus. So he also got a big rework. So launch a projectile at a distant target, dealing 4,878 normal damage. On impact, it explodes, dealing 2,090 electric damage at a small radius, and leaves a trail that inflicts 697 electric damage per second to any enemies it passes through for 14 seconds. So, I'm not going to go into too much to what he was doing before, but for 5 plus 4, he was originally going to be a kind of roadbuster, big unit, use his ability twice max kind of thing. But his initial 4,878 damage, it was much more. I won't say how much more, but very much more. So, again, I don't think this is a captain, 15%. So you need to, unfortunately, rank damage isn't included, but so 4,878 times 1.15 for the rank for the captain bonus. He can't take out build bots. The 2,090 damage. Actually, I'll double check. With that damage, you actually might be able to take out build bots. But the interesting thing that I'm really interested in, kind of redundant there, but the 697 electric damage per second. He's basically doing like Leo level damage. However, his ability doesn't have as much range, and it's not as wide. It's like a thin line. So don't worry, I'll go over gameplay of all these bots. I think he has potential, and before his original damage got kind of sliced, I was kind of considering him, not on my war squad, but like if you pull him and you don't have many other 5-star bots, I think he can work on a war squad, similar to Roadbuster and SG Jetfire. Now I'm a little no less sure. For the original cost for 5 for everything he does is pretty good. It's the next cost is 9. 9 for a thin laser with not that much range isn't fantastic. And he doesn't have like crazy health or damage to compensate for that. So again, without a doubt, a huge improvement over what he was before. I'm interested to see how they adjust him in future updates. I think he'll be very usable in events. I'm just not sure if he'll get top war squad consideration. Or similar to Powerglide, maybe if you're in a lower level, like in Cybertron or below, maybe he can work. So moving on to the next bot. Lastly, we have Trax. So in the buffs video, I said that his ability was better and don't overthink it. So that's exactly that. He does the exact same thing. However, instead of 60%, the 5-star now reduces 70% damage. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of why he got the ability nerf, because instead of 2 plus 5, it's now 2 plus 7. So when you consider the extra 10%, it's pretty reasonable. It's, I think, again, 9 points for the second use is kind of steep, but and I kind of feel for those who don't have the 5-star and are going to continue to use the 4-star. However, Trax is still going to stay on my war squad. I don't think the extra 2 points for, keep in mind they're giving more protection, will take him off of it. I did briefly consider swapping him out for like someone like Red Alert or Overload, but I think ultimately I came back to Trax. So yeah, pretty excited. And then if we look at the stats, Go to the name. So here are the 5-star stats. Base health of 24.2 health, K health, and base damage of 760. So the 4-star has a base health of 20.3, so that's an extra basically 4,000 health, and base damage of 660 basically. So that's basically an extra 100 DPS. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad he's finally getting a 5-star. It's pretty long overdue. He's not gonna come in an event or batch right away. He's starting off as a 5-star web store exclusive. They haven't released the price yet. I don't think it's gonna be quite as expensive as the $200 new bots. I can tell you I've been told he won't be that much. However, I wouldn't be totally shocked if the person who told me that and the person who decides the price are on different pages and it ends up being that much. But I don't think it will be. I hope it's not. I really hope it's not. And if you don't want to buy in the web store, that is okay. He will come to a batch eventually. Don't quote me on this, but I think he's coming in the next batch, which is coming, we don't know when. But so I don't think we're gonna have to wait like 6 months if you don't buy him or anything. But so yeah, so if you don't want to buy him in the web store, I'm undecided if I will. I think the price will basically decide that. So don't worry, he will come to a batch eventually. Hopefully soon, sooner than later. So those are the 3 bots that are kind of getting reworks and 5-star additions. Ultra Magnus already had a 5-star, but again, rework. Then next we have Omega Supreme. He didn't get a huge rework. So the main one is his 4-star ability, Guardian's Blessing. He gains plus 50% attack and move speed and 80% reduction shield for 15 seconds. Then deals 75% of your DPS per bullet to a single target, pulsing to nearby enemies. And his passive after death effect is grant your team a 80% reflection shield for 15 seconds. So that's really good. I'll show footage of it in pretty soon. He can basically take out the shield gen by himself. I'm a big fan of this change. He honestly might be. I think he's the best war combiner now, with the Ruination nerfs. I wouldn't be totally shocked if he gets toned down a little bit with future updates. I think the next balance pack is coming in like December around Christmas, so I don't think they'll nerf him. I think he'll, without a doubt, still be better than he was in current live, but I wouldn't be shocked. But so in the meantime, though, have fun. He's absolutely amazing. I love him. Like I said, I think he's going to be my new number 1 war combiner. 5-star ability didn't change. Rage Rush 3-star ability. The cooldown got reduced from 15 seconds to 10, so that helps him move around a little bit more. And then 2-star ability, Glass Gas. Cooldown is also reduced from 15 seconds to 10, and he also got a range increase, which is cool. And last thing before I start showing footage. So next we have Computron. So he's brand new. Obviously not the whole combiner, but the 5-star ability. So here it is. We got the Blizzard. So create a Cryo Blizzard for 15 seconds in a small area, dealing 486 cryo damage per second to buildings, or 1,701 cryo damage per second to bots. Enemies hit by the Blizzard suffer minus 90% attack and move speed for 15 seconds, and his passive after death effect grants your team hack immunity for 15 seconds. So it says a small area. It's not huge, but it's a pretty good area. It's not that small, don't worry about that. So yeah, I think the best way I can show you is just with footage. So let's jump into that. So I got my base here. It's primarily hard mode with Computron on standby. So I don't think he's as strong as Omega Supreme. I don't think he can take out the shield gen or anything crazy. But I think he'll be good to take out an area. And specifically if you use him after popping outpost spots, I think if he hacks them all, that can be pretty strong. So yeah, I'll go into his abilities when you pop them. So little look into what my new war squad is going to look like too. Okay, get tracks down. So we pop the bottom outposts. I'm gonna pop the left ones and the top ones too. And they're actually doing okay, but let's say they're not. So we'll get Computron down. Also, so this is Blizzard, and then his electrical optics. He now gains stealth, so that's pretty good. This ability works very well with the Cryo Blizzard. Cryo Blizzard does cryo, then it boosts the electric damage, and then his Cryo Rush just rushes him around. So we're gonna try and hack all of the Epo spots in Combiner. Remember, you can do that. And then we're gonna take out this little area to the left. Gain some stealth. Probably should have done the stealth first. Well, you see the Combiner is hacked. They're all busy with each other. The whole squad is doing very well. You check out the bottom area. So yeah, I think that's kind of what his specialty will be. I think so. Volcanicus will kind of be, I think the term they used was the cluster buster. He's great at taking out a small area. I think Computron's specialty will be dealing with outpost spots and helping with that. And I love how his abilities combo together, electric and cryo. So reminder that electric damage now amplifies cryo damage by 30%. So if you want to use the stealth ability first and then follow up with the blizzard, that'll boost the blizzard damage. And then while he's in stealth, you can use his hack, super hack on outpost spots, and that'll keep them busy with each other. So I'm very happy with him. He's a little bit of a glass cannon. I'll show you Omega Supreme, the opposite of a glass cannon, in a second. But so I don't think he's gonna rush into the center and do anything crazy. But I'm very happy with him. He'll definitely be in my war rotation. I'm thinking Omega Supreme 1, Volcanicus 2, Computron 3. Which I'm pretty happy with, because I think Skyrain will be 4. And then I like Skyrain a lot more than most. Currently in the live servers, he's my second combiner, ahead of Volcanicus. So yeah, let's go in for one more battle, show him a little more. I wouldn't recommend going in alone by himself, but I'll show you if you want to what he can take out first. So start with his stealth ability to get some electric damage. And then follow with the Cryo Blizzard to boost that and slow down enemies. And let's say we'll hack this top area and rush up to it. So that'll be all his abilities. He'll die. So that's not how you want to use him. You can see, actually the top area is doing pretty good. Check out the shield gen. That's actually a lot better than I thought he would do. So we're back in Prime League Hard mode. Gonna start with Ultra Magnus. So, reminder, we got the new ability. So, with the old Ultra Magnus, his main damage was with the original shot. So if you want to use that on a build bot, that got kind of sliced to the core, and like he can't even take out a build bot anymore, which for 5+4 is kind of disappointing. However, if we pay attention to the beam damage, see this electric damage going on, and then see how you hit this too. He can take out a pretty good area. So he took out all of this for 5+4. So 9 plus 5, 14 points. So that's not bad. I think if you don't have other bots and you need to use them in war, you'll be okay. It's, again, at the very least, much better than he currently is. I just wish that original damage was higher so we can take out the build bot at the very least. It would be nice if you can take out really any building. But the beam damage is very interesting to me. I'm curious how players will use it. It reminds me of Leo Prime, but he doesn't have quite as much range. Alright, and then next we've got Paraglide. So the first abilities, the best I can do, because he can't take out a build bot by himself. However, if you use a white Kremzik, then he can. And then let's say I want to take out a small area with his now second ability use, 4 points. He now hits adjacent buildings. And then now he shocks them as well. He destroyed them, so you can't really see that. And then 6 points, his last stage, he now deals additional 1.25 times damage. So now, with the boosted damage, now we can take out build bots. So again, I don't think he beats Smokescreen as a build bot destroyer in any way. I don't think he'll be part of the meta in Prime League Hard mode if you have like a bunch of options. However, again, similar to Ultra Magnus, he is without a doubt better than before. And if you want to use him in events, he'll be a good option. And if you're a newer player and you don't have a bunch of 5 stars and you pull him early on, you can make him work in the meantime, especially in lower leagues. Maybe without the war effects in Cybertron and below, maybe that first ability use can take out a build bot without a booster. So that would make him much stronger, especially at lower levels. And again, I'm very interested in his ability concept. It's unique, it's new. I hope they do more stuff like that going forward. That'd be pretty cool. So that wraps up Paraglide. And then next we have Tracks. So I assume everyone pretty much knows what he does. He didn't get an ability change or anything, it's just better now. So we're just gonna quickly show what that 70% can do. So let's say, I wouldn't recommend doing this, but if you want to just get the whole squad down, then pop some outposts and use track smoke while they're walking into it and covered by it, they'll be a-okay. Everyone's still pretty healthy because they're only taking 30% damage. This isn't the most front-loaded base, but still lots of firepower. And again, it's not crazy. You can see they're kind of taking some damage now, but so it won't protect the squad by itself. But I've used no ability points. I've literally just plopped the squad down, used tracks, and now you'll see now they start to get kind of shredded without that. So I love the 70%. I think the 5 star is definitely worth going for. It kind of makes the 2+7 change a little bit more palatable to me. So I just hope he's not too expensive. And then again, if if you don't want to spend for him in the web store, he will be coming to a batch soon. Also, exciting, they've already very heavily hinted toward this in their last live stream, but so Track's con counterpart is Cutthroat, and that was the last piece of defense. I forget the con's version, but the con's version of Defensor, Cutthroat now completes that for them. So very likely Streetwise will be coming in the same batch as Tracks. So then that will complete 5-star Defensor, which pretty much confirms him as the next 5-star, which is very exciting. I think in the last live stream, Dale kind of talked about he's Defensor. He kind of wants to make him like a defensive. I don't know if he's a powerhouse, but very strong defensively. Kind of give him a bit of a rework. His 5-star ability will probably be very defensive minded, so that's cool. I used to use Defensor in an outpost back in like the HQ 17 days, which was so glad to see him getting some love again. So yeah, and then so all we've got left is Omega Supreme. So last but not least, we've got Omega Supreme, and I am a big fan of the changes they've made. I've said this already, but I think he's going to be my number 1 war combiner, which is exciting. And to be honest, he might be a little bit too strong and might get. When he comes live on Tuesday, I think he won't be changed. His changes are done for now. But in around Christmas, when the next batch balance patch comes, I wouldn't be shocked if it's toned down a little bit. But I'll show you what I mean. So the 80% shield, and not only shield, a reflection shield, is so strong. So I'll show you what he can do. Rushing ability, and use it on the shield gen. 4-star ability, and boom, pretty much the whole cluster is dead. And then he still has health to use his 5-star ability and 2-star ability. So for any backdoor fans, he can take out a pretty good area by himself. I think current Ruination would probably be able to take, I don't know about the shield gen, but most of the other stuff out. And then if you want to just boom. And then if I had Cup in my squad, or Springer, or some healers, or all of the above, that's kind of what I'm left with. So that is very strong. And then I'll show you how you can use them if you just want to use them to deal with outposts, like most people use combiners for. So back in primary hard mode, same thing as we did with Tracks, I guess, and then we'll add Taz Kid to take out some buildings for us. And then we'll pop all the outposts and stuff. And then we're going to take out the far side of the base, just like we did with Computron. Let's take out this with the lightning. Get over here. So you can see he didn't get to use his abilities. So I think the move will be to start with the rush and then use his 4-star ability. I think that's the best way to use them. So try that again. Try to use that combo this time. Get run down. Blah blah blah. For the record, this isn't the best way to start an attack. I'm just trying to be quick for you guys. And then Right, and most of the outputs are popped. So now, let's try and take out the build bot and then the right side as well. So, we'll rush to the build bot, use the 4-star ability, which, if you can tell, if they notice in the patch notes, he now hits an area. And then at the end, we can still use his 5-star ability. And yeah, so he's low key very strong. And by low key, I mean no, he's just strong. So yeah, I think he's gonna be my new favorite war combiner. I'm a big fan of his changes. Even if they tone him down in a few months, he will be very strong. Still, there's no scenario where they nerf him below where he is right now before the update. So yeah, that's a recap of all the new content coming out on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday. If you're watching this after Tuesday, of course, it's already out. I'm very excited about it. I'm excited about the general direction of the game. Um, in terms of new content, at the very least. Excited for pipes, or not, tracks. We'll see how that unfolds on Tuesday when it comes to the web store. I'm sure if he's overpriced, I'm sure Discord won't be crazy at all. Uh, so if you're still here, thanks for watching. If you learned something, please leave a like. If you keep coming back, a sub would be appreciated. And I'll see you next time.